Every generation has a hero, someone who just completely captures the public's imagination and achieves some truly incredible things. But out of all those heroes, only a very, very few transcend that status to become actual legends. So today, in this explainer, we're unpacking the cinematic, almost mythic journey of the guy who absolutely redefined what it means to be unstoppable. We're talking about Bruce Lee. But we're not just going to look at his physical feats here. We're breaking down the exact philosophy that made those feats possible in the first place. All right, let's dive right in. If you ask most people on the street, they'll probably tell you Bruce Lee conquered the world with his fists, right? I mean, they think of the lightning-fast kicks, that iconic yellow tracksuit, and just absolute martial arts mastery. But here's the thing. That is only the surface. What the world largely didn't see was his personal library of over 2,500 books spanning philosophy, psychology, and self-help. Or, get this, the surprisingly delightful fact that the toughest man on earth was actually a cha-cha dancing champion in Hong Kong before he ever became a martial arts icon. His true superpower was always his mind. He conquered the world with his mindset way before his physical strikes ever made an impact on the screen. For Bruce Lee, turning scars into lessons and failures into fuel wasn't just some catchy motivational poster. Back in 1970, he suffered a catastrophic back injury during a routine training session. Doctors literally told him he would be bedridden for months, and worse, that he would never, ever practice martial arts again. Most people would have just let that be the end of the story. But not Bruce. He weaponized that downtime. He used those grueling, painful months in bed to meticulously write and compile his ultimate philosophical treatise, the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. He didn't hide from the damage, he learned from it. Where the medical world told him to just stop, he found the profound mental energy to keep going. All right, part 1, the beginning of greatness, foundation of a legend. To really understand the icon, we have to look at the unseen foundation where all that greatness was forged. Legends are never born in comfort. It's so easy to look at highly successful people and just assume their legendary status was some kind of magical gift handed down by the universe. But Bruce Lee arrived in San Francisco from Hong Kong with essentially nothing but $100 in his pocket and a relentless drive. His greatness was forged in the dark, trying to navigate a brand new culture, far, far away from anything even resembling comfort. It was built from absolute zero, in those quiet, desperate moments when giving up would have been the easiest choice in the world. The default human condition leans pretty heavily toward hesitation. It's just so easy to seek comfort while others doubt your potential. And Bruce Lee faced massive resistance, especially from Hollywood executives who genuinely believed an Asian man could never be a leading star that Western audiences would actually pay to see. But while the industry slept on his potential and doubted his viability, he was alone, striking a wooden training dummy thousands of times a day. His work ethic was relentless and honestly incredibly lonely. He didn't wait around for permission to be great, he just put in the physical and mental reps to make himself undeniable. He lived by this simple, relentless truth. Every ordinary day became another step toward an extraordinary future. He wasn't waiting for some massive, cinematic moment to define him. He took the most mundane, repetitive daily disciplines, the solitary mountain running at dawn, the endless shadow boxing in tight spaces, jumping rope for hours, and his mindset transformed those ordinary days into a history-making destiny. The real magic wasn't on the movie sets. The magic was in the mundane. Moving on to part 2, conquering the inner opponent, defeating the true enemy. Because the real fight for greatness actually happens entirely inside. I want to pose a question directly to you right now. Who is your greatest opponent? When you think about the obstacles standing in your way today, what face do you see? What external force do you blame? Is it a difficult boss, a bad economy, maybe a lack of resources? Take a second and really think about the ultimate adversary you believe is standing between you and your goals. Well, Bruce Lee understood a stark reality. The ultimate adversary isn't your boss, it's not the economy, and it's sure not the critics. It's fear, doubt, and hesitation. The true enemy is never actually the person standing across from you. It's that insidious, quiet voice hiding right inside your own mind, constantly convincing you to play it safe. These internal forces, the fear of failure, that deep-seated doubt of your own capability, hesitating right when you know you should act, they have to be defeated before you can ever achieve an external victory. Bruce Lee tackled this through his famous philosophy of be water. Think about it. Water doesn't hesitate when it hits a rock. It just flows right around it. He realized that stiffening up in the face of fear only makes you brittle and easy to break. Adapting to fear, letting it flow through you without controlling you, was the absolute non-negotiable prerequisite for every single thing he achieved. Which brings us to part 3, redefining the impossible, turning pain into fuel. Because how exactly do you handle it when the world looks at you and says your dream absolutely cannot be done? Bruce Lee point-blank refused to surrender to pain, failure, or fear. Consider one of the biggest professional heartbreaks of his entire life. He pitched and developed the concept for a television show that ultimately became Kung Fu, and the studio actually passed him over for the lead role, casting a white actor instead simply because they were afraid of his heritage. It was a crushing failure born out of sheer prejudice. But surrender just wasn't in his vocabulary. Instead of accepting defeat in Hollywood, he packed up, pivoted entirely, and went to Hong Kong to make his own movies totally on his own terms. He didn't just endure that Hollywood rejection. He built a mental engine that directly converted external impossibility into high-octane fuel. By pivoting to Hong Kong, he created a frenzy of success that completely forced Hollywood to come crawling back to him. That rejection was the direct catalyst that led to Enter the Dragon, a film that forever changed global cinema. The heavier the rain fell on him, the harder he sprinted forward. Every setback became another reason to fight harder. And that perfectly sets up part 4, the ultimate life lesson, building an unbreakable life. This is really the sweeping lesson of his legacy. Bruce Lee's ultimate teaching actually wasn't about how to throw a perfect punch or execute a flawless flying kick. It was entirely about how to build an unbreakable life. He merely used the physical practice of martial arts as a vehicle for the construction of deep, resilient human character. Fighting was really just the metaphor he used to teach the world how to live. He built that unbreakable framework through 3 very actionable traits. First, discipline. That's the ability to do the lonely, grueling work day in and day out, even when the cameras are off and literally no one is cheering for you. Second, humility. This one is incredibly hard for high achievers, but it means stripping away your ego and recognizing that you're never a finished product. You always have to remain a student of life. And third, relentless self-improvement. In our crazy, distracted modern lives, this simply means striving to be just 1% better today than you were yesterday. When you compound that tiny effort over a lifetime, you become unstoppable. He lived by this amazing mantra. Heroes inspire people for a moment, but legends inspire generations. Bruce Lee's physical body may have left us decades ago, but his legacy hasn't diminished by a single fraction. Today, you'll find his books sitting on the desks of Fortune 500 CEOs, in the lockers of world championship UFC fighters, and in the studios of elite artists. His philosophy continues to awaken high achievers all across the globe, right now in this very moment. Hear this and really feel the weight of it. Greatness isn't given, it is earned. If there's just one thing you take away from this explainer today, let it be this commanding reality. No one is coming to hand you your ideal life. The universe does not owe you success. This level of legendary mindset and phenomenal achievement is strictly, unapologetically, earned through daily, relentless, unseen effort. Don't chase success, build the person who deserves it. Stop running frantically after the external rewards, the money, the status, the perfect punch. Focus all of that energy inward. Conquer your inner opponent, weaponize your failures, and forge your character in the dark. So I'm going to leave you with this final question. Who are you building yourself to be today? Thank you so much for joining me. Keep building, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.